Hi, I'm Mark Edwards and welcome to Travelogue. I've taken a brisk 45-minute flight east from Beijing to the coastal city of Qingdao, arguably the home of beer in China. I've been told that it has a fantastic blend of European and Chinese architecture, as well as being an extremely popular seaside holiday resort. So let's go and explore. Qingdao's Liuting International Airport is situated 30 kilometers north of the city, and you can take a swift 20-minute bus into the city centre. Straight away, you'll get that I'm on holiday vibe, even if you're not. That's thanks to the breath of crisp sea air that greets you as soon as you arrive in Qingdao. At first sight, you might be forgiven for thinking that you can't possibly be in a port city in Shandong province in East China. As you emerge into the city centre, you'll get the distinct impression that you've got off at a 19th century Bavarian village. With its German legacy almost totally intact, Qingdao prides itself on its unique appearance, and some even go as far as calling it China's Switzerland. That might be a little too much, but its marriage of Chinese and European architecture, allied to its proximity to the sea and its many beaches, make Qingdao a perfect holiday getaway.
哪个地图有英文的有吗？
有。
这个是英文的。
啊，英文的。
对，你有英文的吗？
啊，就是。
这个就是。啊。
中英文。
是吗？还有什么东西在里面？
什么都有。
什么都有，每个好的地方是吧？
啊，都有，所有的地方都有。
哦，我拿一个，多少钱一个
？8。啊。
你会说英语吗？
啊，这不就是 8？
8，我买一个。Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
There's an absolute plethora of activities to enjoy here, and you'll feel the weight of history everywhere you go. In the late 19th century, the might of international politics thrust what was, at the time, a small scenic fishing village into the limelight on the world stage. The assassination of 2 German missionaries that year was used as a pretext by the German Kaiser Wilhelm II to force the Qing government to lease Qingdao to Germany for 99 years. The lease came into effect in 1898, and this small coastal village was set on the path to becoming the 4th largest seaport in China. It's a great place for strolling. The city's green credentials are further reinforced by its many parks, and the Qingdaoshan Gongyuan is especially worth visiting because of the added attraction of its underground fort. It's a vast network of underground fortifications that the Germans themselves destroyed in 1914. All that's left today is the underground command post.
Okay. So this is, we're just about to enter the underground lair for German troops, so the underground command post that was built in 1899, and it looks quite scary. Well, Jim. 每个地方小心头，你也小心头。你也要小心。
It's a thoroughly enjoyable visit as you're literally thrust into the front line in a claustrophobic, hands-on experience guaranteed to appeal to all ages. The atmosphere is palpably scary, especially if you've come on a day with few other visitors. Dark, dank, and I'd venture to say an ideal setting for a low-budget horror movie. Whether you're coming to read about the history, feel the history, or relive it, you won't be disappointed. You can take a look around the old living quarters, the canteen, the boiler room, and the many escape hatches and secret tunnels, all buried 3 stories underground.
So I'm heading up to the watchtower, which is where the German army would have given out their instructions. There's a reinforced steel parapet and turret that revolves, and it's got 20 centimeters of reinforced steel in case it came under heavy fire, and hopefully there won't be any of that today. Ni hao. Luckily, no heavy gunfire, just a nice little girl. Can you see her? Yeah.
It's all well and good getting hands-on and reliving the lives of early 20th century German soldiers. But it's time for a bit more history.
So, finished our tour of the underground layer, and it really was very impressive to see how much money and resources the Germans put into building that place. And it makes sense because of its geographical location. It's a lot colder in there.
The Qingdao War Museum highlights the main players from this period of history through exhibits such as Japanese, German and Chinese guns, parchments, documents, testimonials and photographs. At the time, Qingdao made an ideal deep water base for the German Navy, and it was protected by a 2,000-strong garrison. But the Germans weren't the only ones to appreciate Qingdao's strategic importance. The city was the object of an international tug-of-war when Japan, anxious to acquire a foothold in China, spotted that Germany's influence in the East had weakened due to the events unfolding on the battlefields of Europe. What then ensued is commonly referred to as the Siege of Qingdao, the only major land battle in East Asia during the First World War. Then, in 1919, much to the fury of the Chinese, Qingdao was ceded to Japan under the Treaty of Versailles. This led directly to the outbreak of the May the 4th movement, a crucial event in the formation of the national Chinese consciousness.
Using the motor first to get out.
The German occupation, though relatively brief, has created something of a tourist haven. During the early 20th century, the city was split into European, Chinese and business quarters. And to this day, strolling the streets of the European concession is a real eye-opener. On the south slope of the Signal Hill, we chance upon a massive German villa. The magnificently built mansion was the former residence of the German governor. The entire estate covers 26,000 square meters, and it's undoubtedly one of the most impressive structures in the city, akin to a huge castle-like palace with spiral staircases, Tudor-style beams, vaulted ceilings, and stucco balconies. There was no extravagance spared in its construction, with much of the materials shipped in from Europe. In many ways, it reminds me of the stately homes that you can find dotted around the United Kingdom, with their large entrance halls, lavish paintings and opulent decorations. Used by Mao Zedong in 1958, which is incidentally why it wasn't damaged during the Cultural Revolution, like many of the other foreign buildings were, the mansion is now a hotel come museum. You can take a look at the very room used by the chairman, which has been left exactly as he liked it, with hard mattresses, soft couches, and lots of spittoons. These days, you'll also be able to find different exhibitions that take place in the gazebo, such as a photographic history of Qingdao, which was on when we were there.
So, picture this. It's the turn of the 20th century and you're the recently appointed governor of Qingdao, all the way from Germany. You also have a bottomless expense account. What do? Well, you build an extravagant house, like the governor did. Unfortunately for him, the bill went straight to the Kaiser Wilhelm II of almost 2.5 million tiles of silver. The governor was promptly sent back to Germany and sacked, but we get to see the remains. Right, let's see what almost 2.5 million tiles of silver can get you in 1903. And one of the main questions I'm sure you're wondering is, how many rooms in this whole building? Well, 30 big rooms. And some of the few facts that I've learnt here, if you have a quick look, that is probably just a normal fireplace to you, but adding in the fact that there are 30 rooms, each fireplace in each room is completely different. Let's have a look around. And all of these chandeliers up here, if you have a quick look, all of these chandeliers up here are all different as well, and they still remain. They're exactly how they were. Obviously the light bulbs have been changed, but they're exactly the same as they were 100 years ago. And we've got some great views on the outside. I almost feel like an estate agent right now. This is the former governor's bedroom, and you can see over there is a single bed. And these would have been the inhabitants of the bedroom. I assume that must be the governor. And that's the tour of the house.
Each of the different rooms has a distinct style. But all in all, the moral of the story when it comes to this fantastic tourist spot is that expense accounts are never bottomless. But the governor really should be commended for his vision that lost him his job. As if the Yingbingwan, as it's known in Chinese, doesn't have it all, you just need to walk outside a few yards and you'll be greeted by breathtaking views from the hilltop.
So at the very end of the 19th century, Qingdao was ceded to the Germans after their leader, Kaiser Wilhelm, had kept his eye on it as he thought it would be a strategic location for them in the east. Now, they were only here for around 15 years, but the mark that they made then can still be very seen now, as you can see with the building behind us.
Whilst you're in the mood for strolling, there's no better place than in and around Badaguan, whatever the weather. It literally means 8 passes. Famous for its tree-lined streets, garden